Hey everyone, welcome. This is Tuesday evening, so we are doing our live Healy webinar with myself and my good friend Ray Jatan here. We are very excited to share with you all about this little device called the Healy. Now, this may not look like much, but for people that understand frequency and energy medicine, this is a huge, huge breakthrough in the concept of frequency medicine. So first, I always want to share a little bit about what is frequency medicine, because I know a lot of people, this might be the first exposure you've had to this concept, but I know it was for me. Back in May of 2020, the Healy had just become available in the United States. And the person that told me about Healy is a holistic doctor out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho area. And Dr. Allen had called me up and said, David, you got to check this out. Now, she is someone that we have talked with over the last 30 years whenever we had questions about health. Myself, we try to avoid going to the doctor, avoid using pharmaceutical drugs, try to do things more natural or holistically. So if that's kind of the way you think, I think you're going to love the Healy as well. When she told me about the Healy, I had heard of a Rife machine. Maybe that's a familiar concept to you, but I just maybe read an article or seen a video about it. But the basic concept of that Rife machine from, I think, 80 years ago, and frequency medicine in general, is that every cell in our body is a little electrical power plant. The cell wall has a cellular voltage to it, and every cell has a different frequency that it vibrates at, that the energy vibrates at. So to back up a little bit, you may have heard of Nikola Tesla, and he's got a quote from 100 years ago where he said, if you want to understand the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So they knew that 100 years ago. Quantum physicists have understood that at the subatomic level, where everything is made up of, it's just pure energy and frequency and vibration. Albert Einstein also famously said, future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. And this kind of reminds me of, if you were a Star Trek The Next Generation fan, you saw that they would kind of do that tricorder thing and scan someone's body, and they could see what's going on, and they could do amazing medical things on that table they had there, right? And this is kind of getting towards that concept. It's really, really cool. So when Dr. Allen explained this to me, we just trust her so much, and she had such amazing results with her clients. She was almost mind-boggling how amazing she was doing with these clients that she was using this device on, this little device. And so we bought one just because we understood that she knows what she's talking about. Since then, we've just had an amazing experience where it's helped for myself with like sciatica issues. The main problems I was having at the time health-wise, because I'm generally pretty healthy, but I had sciatica issues with that pain in my left side. I had some numbness in my hand here that the Healy not only addressed, but it would tell me that. I could see it would say, you need to run the program for nerves, or you need to run the program for sciatica. So the Healy is actually able to scan our bioenergetic field and sense what is out of balance and show you the programs that would be best to use. So that's light years beyond what the Rife machine could do. The Rife machine, you simply had a catalog, you pick heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever, and it would just give you a couple of frequencies you might try, and you just dial it in and hit start, and you just send that frequency to your body. The Healy is different. It's actually got a sensor that can read the frequency information in your bioenergetic field, which is an EMF field around your body, because our bodies generate this field because we're electrical beings. And the quantum physicists actually call that the information field, because they can read that information, which is frequency. So this has something called a quantum sensor where it reads. Now, there are other devices out there that are large and bulky and that therapists use around the world that are more holistic therapists that use energy medicine, that will have a way to read the field, but they generally cost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. The Healy itself is based off of one of those devices called a time waver, which can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000. And typically you'd be a therapist and have clients coming into your offices and paying you $150 for one session. Well, what we have here is basically the same type of technology, but very small and portable, and you control it from your smartphone. And it's intended that it allows the average person to experience frequencies. And we don't get to pay them $150 for one session. You can do multiple sessions every day, and you own the technology. So, and there's no monthly fees or yearly fees. I mean, you literally buy it, you purchase the package of what program sets you want to have, and you can run those as much as you want, not only on yourself, but your spouse, your kids, your dogs, your cats, your animals, plants. I mean, you can do frequency work with all sorts of stuff. So it's really pretty cool. So that's the basic concept of what frequencies are. Another way to think of it is it's putting in energy, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways that the Healy does frequency. And you might have heard some people say, well, I listen to YouTube videos where it has like audio frequencies. So it has specific tones of specific frequencies that have a resonant effect in the body. So you can do frequency with audio, or, sound or light, or in this case, microcurrent or scalar waves, or in the quantum field. There's a lot of different ways to resonate energy into your body. And this does it 3 of those ways. So one kind of cool way to understand this is we have this concept that if you have 2 violins in a room, you start bowing the G string on one, the G string on the other violin starts to vibrate and produce sound, emit sound, because the sound waves at a very specific frequency are striking that G string on the other violin, even though nobody's touching it, and it resonates. It causes that energy to expand in that string. Same thing in our cells. When we resonate specific frequencies into our body, we have a specific response, a physical response. And we found that frequencies are also not just the physical body and cells, but it's emotions and thoughts and brain waves, and everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. So keep that in mind, that this is really kind of a future type technology, but they've understood it for a long time. There's been people that have done like audio type frequencies for hundreds or thousands of years, with different types of instruments and things. So that's the basic idea. So let's go right into, well, Ray, why don't you just tell them a little bit of your personal story, and then maybe a little bit of the relationship with Marcus Schmika and the Healy?
Yeah, absolutely. What you're seeing here is actually much bigger than what you can see. So, my first experience with frequencies was about 6 years ago. I had met a lady that was referred to me, and she had one of the larger practitioner machines. And by the way, these larger practitioner machines, I found out because I was so intrigued with what she was doing, was very expensive. We're talking $20,000 to $40,000. And she carried around in a briefcase, and my friends had recommended that I let her do a personal frequency scan for me, except it was $150 just to be scanned by her, and it took several hours. But the interesting thing was, it got really specific. People, or she was telling me things that I didn't tell her. The machine that she had was reading my body, and she could tell that I was a type 1 diabetic, which was true. I've been diabetic since I was 16 years old, 36 years now. She said I had a low thyroid, which is also true, verified by blood work and the doctor previously. She said I had E. coli and bacteria in my system, and that I dealt with depression and anxiety, which all of that was true. And of course, she was able to send frequencies to address that. But I looked into trying to get one of those devices, and there was just no way on earth I would be able to afford that. Plus, it was going to take another $15,000 to fly over to Germany and get trained on how to use that particular device. So the Healy is actually, the mother company is called Time Waver, and they make those $20,000 to $40,000 devices. And it takes a lot of time for a client to come into the office and get a scan. So the practitioners that own those Time Waver devices, went to Marcus Schmieke, who's a quantum physicist and a former monk, and he's partnered up with a billionaire named Christian Halper to fund the research and development of this. But the practitioners came to Marcus and said, we need something that is cost effective for our clients to be able to either purchase or borrow and then take home as an extension to our care, so that they could up their frequencies more often so their body could remember where it needed to be. So they actually developed this and launched it to the practitioners in 2017. By 2019, they realized that the investment they made in this little device here had not paid for itself yet, and so they were looking for ways to go to market outside of the practitioners, because even though practitioners are great healers, they just weren't really great at selling. So they launched this into more of the social selling arena, is what I like to refer to it as, or an affiliate type program or network marketing, whatever you want to call it these days. There's a lot of different models out there like that. And frankly, it's one of the best models available these days, especially with the way our economy is and the way our world has turned. So basically, it goes from the manufacturer to the consumer with a referral person in the middle that the manufacturer is paying a commission to help get the word out. So it's like word of mouth advertising, if you will. So knowing that, I found out about this about 3 months after it had entered in the US market. So it started off in 2019. In the other world markets, they did about $7 million the first year, which not too bad, in my opinion. But when it hit the US market, it was in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, and it was May of 2020. So not even a full year in 2020. And by the end of 2020, they had done over $100 million worth of business. So when I heard that, I was thinking, man, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm thinking opportunity. Not only did I see this work within the first couple of hours of using it, to know that there was an opportunity. So let me backtrack a minute. When I found out about this, 3 years after I found out about that larger, more expensive machine, my son had a major growth spurt. He's my youngest. He's getting ready to graduate high school now, but he was 15 at the time, and he had a major growth spurt where he grew 6 inches in 8 months. So fast, he's got stretch marks on his back. And we tried a bunch of different things to try to get the kid fixed. Nothing was working. Chiropractic, massage, pills, vitamins, you name it. And we headed out for vacation to pick up some of my closest friends to go with us. And when they saw him, they said, hey, we just bought this device. It's out of Germany. So to me, that spoke quality. And they said it's cleared here in the US market for chronic and acute pain, arthritis, and muscle soreness. And then they said the other countries, they also have it cleared for fibromyalgia, depression, and anxiety. Just can't say that officially here in the US market. But same device, oddly enough. So they ran a scan for my son in the pain stimulation category, and then ran a 20-minute vibe on him, or resonant vibration, and 2 hours later he's walking normal. And my wife says, we got to have one of those. So we ordered one. We had one ordered before we ever got back to Missouri, and I've got issues myself. I've been diabetic since I was 16, like I mentioned a little bit ago. So there's a lot of other issues that go along with diabetes, but I can tell you that this is the biggest thing that I've ever done in 36 years of having that awful disease, to reduce the amount of insulin that I take on a daily basis. Not to mention some of the neuropathy that it addressed in one of my legs. And then with my daughters and my wife, we saw it taking care of or straightening out a lot of hormone imbalance. Um, Gosh, you name it. This thing has been a little miracle in our family, and I bet we have saved more money in using this device, purchasing this device, than what we would have spent going to the doctor over the last couple of years. So this thing, we're in love with the Healy. We have several Healys in my house, um, just because nobody likes to share. Everybody wants to use their own Healy. So we've had a lot of fun with this, and I couldn't imagine in the beginning, I had no idea that this could replace the income that I've earned in the heating and air business. I wasn't looking for a business opportunity, but I'm an entrepreneur. And so when I heard about how much money that this thing has generated over that first year or two, I was wondering how much of that could I earn, and how new is this in the US market, and would other people like to know about it? So basically, I just shared it with a few friends, started off with just trying to get my own free Healy, because one of the guys said, if you can sell 3 of these, you can get one for free. And I was all about the free stuff. I didn't really care about the money at the time, but then a few weeks later, when they sent me a text message and said, you've got several $1,000s in your account, I was thinking, I'm not going to turn that down, right? So there's a lot of opportunity here for a person that's looking to expand their income. You know, I was listening to the radio the other day, David, and they said there's 60,000 people a month looking for an extra gig, a side gig, a side income. And you know, over the last couple of years, we've experienced 30 to 50% increases in our goods and services. And I'm certain that most people don't get 30 to 50% raises at their job. So this fills in the gap for a lot of that. So I'm gonna I'm gonna hush up for a moment and let you take it from there.
All right. Well, I'm going to share real quick how the Healy actually works, because I found it really helpful to actually kind of see it and feel it and understand it. We can't really quite reach out and touch it here, but I'm going to give you a demonstration so you can see how powerful this is. So first of all, this is the device. And in this case, I have these wires connected that are going to electrodes that are bracelets on both of my wrists. And so when I run a program this way, it's sending a very, very, very low current charge of electrical charge from the rechargeable battery in the Healy, but at very specific frequencies. It's not important that you're getting shocked. You're not going to feel like it's zapping you. It's important that it's at specific frequencies and it's flowing through the water and the cells in your body in this case. Another way that's newer that came out even since Ray and I bought our Healys is this very cool thing called the Healy coil. You can see the coil of wire in there. It's actually 2 Tesla coils. So Tesla was famous for creating these Tesla coils that could cause energy to move across space. And so that's what this does. It creates something called a 0-point field and scalar waves. And it's a different way of applying resonant energy to the body. And this plugs in right where the wires would go. And now you have a wireless Healy. Now, the wires are the most intense. You do want to do some with the wires. That's the energy flowing through your cells. This is more about balancing the energy in that bioenergetic field, which has an effect internally. It's just a little more subtle. So Healy would say, run this, up to 3 times a day and put some space in between, let your body assimilate all that energy. But this is more subtle, so you can run them back to back all day long. So if you want to do multiple frequency programs all day long, you can. That would cost you a lot of money if you went to a therapist and asked to do 10 programs in a day, right? This is pretty cool that you can do as much as you want. So I'm going to go ahead and take that back out, plug the wires back in so I can demonstrate how I'd run a program that way. And then there's a third way of doing frequencies in the quantum field that I'll show you in a sec. So normally what we do is we turn on the Healy and we clip it to our shirt or put it in our pocket so that it can be within our bioenergetic field and read that information field. So I'm going to actually share my my screen, my phone screen. Find the share screen, iPhone share. Okay. So in a second, you'll see my phone, and I've got several different apps that I'll use with the Healy. We mainly use these three at the top. I'll just explain that the Heal Advisor is pretty cool. There's different modules, but one of them that you use quite a bit is called the Heal Advisor Search. If you have diabetes like Ray, or you have sciatica like I used to have, or high blood pressure or depression, or just you're in a bad mood, you can type in whatever you want into that search function, and then it will list the Healy programs that would be best to address that issue. Now, we need to make it clear that the Healy, we cannot claim that it cures any disease or mitigates any disease. What we believe and what we know is that the Healy is providing that energy and that resonant energy and frequency so that the body can heal itself. We're just activating ATP in the cells and amino acid transport and protein synthesis. There's all sorts of stuff happening at the cellular level when we run frequency programs. So that will tell you which ones. This is cool. It can scan your field. I'll just show you really quick how this works. There's a lot to this. We're not going to go into super detail because there's just not time for that. But just know that you can do even a lot more than I'm going to show you. There's things called aura analysis where it deals with those 7 energy centers in the body called chakras. Coaching analysis is almost like having a life coach and removing a lot of the emotional blockages and things using frequency and energy. But resonance analysis is what I enjoy using the most. I'm going to go in there and click on myself as the client. And you can add clients here that can be people or animals. You can do all sorts of different things. But I'm going to do myself. It scans for the Healy, so I make sure it's turned on. It is. And it'll pop up the serial number. Just a second. There we go. And I click on that, and it's going to connect by Bluetooth to my Healy. So now I can access that quantum sensor and read my field, because this is the app where we use, or the module called Resonance Module, where we can scan to see what do I have the greatest resonance with, meaning which programs in all these databases. So we'll go to the database selection. You'll see there's all these ones, like a lot of these holistic protocols that people have used over the decades and centuries. Alaskan gem elixirs, Australian bush flowers is popular. Bach flower remedies you may have heard of are homeopathics. Down at the bottom, we even have things like I Ching, which is traditional Chinese medicine, Schussler salts, vital substances. Most of these here, though, in the middle that say Healy, these are the different Healy microcurrent programs that we could run with the electrodes or with that coil. So I like to scan within that. For instance, there's 8 programs in the fitness group, and I could click on that and scan and see which is the most resonant with me. What does my body showing, because of the frequency information in my field, showing that I need the most work with. But I can go one step further and actually scan what's called all Healy programs right here. 26 different program category groups, such as fitness. And they'll have anywhere from, there's one program group that only has 2, but most of them have 6 to 12 different programs in each group. So I'll scan in here, and I place my finger or thumb on there. It's not actually reading my thumbprint. It's just a point of focus when I'm ready to scan. And it says that the most resonant frequency group right now for me is called Healy Digital Nutrition Mixtures. And then that's really cool. That's basically having all the frequency information from different supplements, like for the brain or the hair or the skin or the muscles and so on, or even emotional things. But there's 72 programs in that group. So, but it's saying that there's that's the thing I'm most resonant with right now, that I need some work in that area. Then Gold Cycle is another really cool group developed by one of these time waiver therapists. Chakra programs. These are kind of meridians. If you're familiar with the concepts they use in acupuncture of meridians in the body. And then Job has programs like for fatigue and exhaustion, but also things like positive thoughts and activation, just things that would be good for your job. So what I would typically do when I see this is go to the top 2 or 3 of these and scan with them. I'm just going to scan, for this purpose, the Healy Digital Nutrition, because that's the #1 program. It's the most resonant at 61% with me. So I go back here and choose myself as the client and go directly now to the Healy Digital Nutrition Mixture programs. Like I said, there's 72 of them. So this scan will take a little longer because it's comparing my field against 72 different programs and seeing which of these is going to bring me up the top 5. Always shows the top 5 most resonant programs. So number 1 for me right now is liver harmony. Then one called sensitivities, which may have to even do with like electrosensitivity if you're sensitive to different, 5G, 4G, protection from that. Skin harmony, eyesight, and energetic. So all of these are above 50%. I kind of use 50% as my key. So I would write these down and I would run these programs throughout the day or even through the week, and come back to multiple times, sometimes with the wire, sometimes with the coil. The third way I can do frequencies, though, is once I have a set like this, I can hit actions, vibrate, choose a time period. I'll go shorter, 37 seconds for our demonstration. And so what this is doing, the blue wavy line always means it's reading your field, like when I did the scans earlier. The reddish wavy line is the information it's sending to my field. So I love that this is displaying that it's doing both. It's not just sending me a bunch of frequencies from these 5 programs. It's still reading my field and adjusting which frequencies out of each of these 5 programs I need the most and sending me what is going to have the most benefit for me. So you can do that for much longer time periods if you want, but this is an example of how you can do this. And I was kind of a little, myself, I was a little closed-minded towards this in the beginning, but as I've been using it, I understand that this actually does work. But this is the third way you can send frequencies, and it's in the quantum field. So you can actually even do this remotely. So if you are already familiar with the concepts of energy and you're a therapist or you're in that field already, you know that you can do remote sessions with people and send frequencies in the quantum field because it's a concept called quantum entanglement that allows that to happen. It's physics, guys. So this is not woo-woo crazy stuff. This is actual physics going on. And you can send frequencies and it's amazing. The testimonials of people that even are getting frequencies sent remotely, even to another country. I mean, it doesn't matter distance, and it's pretty cool. So just know that that's another way. You can do that with yourself like I just did, or you can even work with clients remotely or other people. So now I want to go though and show you that what I would typically do is knowing that the liver harmony program is my number 1 program. I'm going to show you how I'd run that with microcurrent. I close this app. We go to the main Healy app where you do either microcurrent or using the coil. Make sure I turn the Healy back on because when I close out the first app, it usually shuts off the second app. Make sure B7, yep, this is the serial number of the Healy I'm using. I got to click it on my phone. There we go. Click, connect. Now, again, I want to have the Healy in my bioenergetic field because this is the other thing about the Healy that's so interesting. When I start this program, it's not just sending me a bunch of frequencies. It's going to be reading my field and sending the frequencies. So it's adjusting in real time. It's called IMF, or individual microcurrent frequencies. So you can see the most recent program I was doing was the pineal gland, which is up in the brain. And you can run programs specifically for activating the pineal gland, but I'm going to cancel that one. And that was in a different group called bioenergetic vitalization. You can see these ones are specifically about helping the body, are dealing with things like epigenetics, okay? Stem cells, human growth hormone, it's frequencies that help us stay young. I'll just show you really quickly all the different program groups. There's Gold Cycle, pain and stimulation, which, by the way, the FDA is cleared for pain, or the Healy is FDA cleared for pain. In Europe, they actually have clearances for fibromyalgia and anxiety and depression. They recognize even more things that frequencies can do. But here in the US, they just recognize pain. We have learning programs, fitness, job and sleep, mental balance, beauty and skin, bioenergetic harmony 1 and 2. These are where I found my sciatica and the nerves. And I'll just show you real quick. It's got cool ones. Defense, shiver is like if you're getting a cold. Sensitivity, eyes, hormones, intestines, nerves, flexibility, circulation, etc. We have meridian programs, chakra programs, bioenergetic defense, bioenergetic support. Now we get to the digital nutrition. So there's 6 pages of these because there's 72 of them. So I have to quickly see if I can find the liver one, because that was the one that was most There it is right here. So liver harmony, I just click on it. It shows me it's going to be, oh, it's a longer program, 102 minutes. Usually they're between 40 and 60 minutes, but sometimes there's ones that are longer. And I'm going to hit start. It shows me using the electrodes on the wrist, which I'm using the bracelet version instead of the adhesive ones. I hit start. It's sending all those frequencies over to the Healy right now. It's sending the set, all the numbers and hertz of what frequencies are part of this program group that these time waiver therapists have been able to figure out, that these are all frequencies that can affect the liver positively. And there might be a lot of things that could affect the liver positively as far as frequency. You see it's doing 485 hertz and then 142 hertz and then 459 hertz. It's going through a period right now where it's scanning my field and comparing to these different frequencies to see which are the ones that I need the most. Okay. And then you see this little frequency wave sometimes going off and on. We want that to be like this. So it's measuring that there's current flowing between my two wrists through my body. The way we make sure this doesn't come up is to increase this intensity right here, because it starts at a default of 15%. And I usually put this up around 40, 45%. When I get to 45, I can actually feel a little tingling in my hands and I can sense that energy flowing through there. And so look what happens when I unplug one of these. It turns off and it says that a frequency is generated, but no measurable current is flowing. So that proves that my body is part of the circuit and the frequencies are passing through the water in the cells in my bodies and impacting my cells. So this is going to change after a while where it'll start showing the progress, how much it'll select a set of frequencies for me and then show me how my body is absorbing it and using those things and assimilating those frequencies. And it's really cool and really technical. And in this case, it's going to be an hour and 40 minutes long. You see that where it pops down sometimes, it might be you have dry skin or you're dehydrated. You can put a little water on the bracelets to kind of help with conductivity. So that's the basic idea of how you run a program. And again, you could also do that by taking out the wires and running with the coil. What I typically try to do is run 2 or 3 times with the wires in the day, and in between run a bunch with the coil. And I might run this with the wires and then right after run it again with the coil. It's just a different application, and then go to one of those other programs that came up for me that was important. All right, so that's basically how we run that. I do want to show really quick. I'll stop sharing here and just show that there's another device that we have called a Mag Healy. This is a newer technology that came out just, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, and it creates magnetic field frequencies. This is really kind of new and cool. I'm just going to describe it because we're running short on time, but basically you can do programs where you just set it in the room and it creates a magnetic field with frequency in it that affects the whole room. So there's really cool programs there like family harmony or children playing or even pantry. You can put it in with your food and it'll clear, do some energy work in there. You can put it in your car. There's one called Car, and it helps block or help your body defend itself from all that electromagnetic stuff that's going on in all the car electronics there. So there's a ton of them. There's 24 different atmosphere programs, but there's also these ones called water where you can put it on, fill a water bottle, set it on top, and it does magnetic field. It's only short 10-minute programs, but there's 24 of them. Things like vagus nerve stimulation or holistic support or energy circulation. There's all these things, and you're putting those frequencies into the water, and then you're drinking your water. So it's called imprinting water, and you're getting whoops, energetic water. I just dropped my Mag Healy. You don't want to do that because that's expensive. Okay. So be very careful with your Mag Healy. But I wanted to explain that because as we go into this presentation here, where I'm going to share my screen, this keynote presentation I've made, it talks a little bit about the Mag Healy. So I wanted you to understand that. So here you can see, you're using your smartphone, or by the way, it can be Android or iOS, and it can be a smartphone or a tablet. As long as it's running the iOS or the Android operating system, you can run the Healy program or with the Mag Healy. There are 5 editions of the Healy at 5 different price points, but the hardware is the same. So when you buy the Healy, you get all the stuff you need to run whatever program sets you have. You can start with a lower edition that has fewer programs and later upgrade to a higher one that has more programs or even more app modules like that resonance module or the Aura module or the search module and so on. And you can upgrade and you don't need to get new hardware because the hardware is the same for every edition, which is really cool because some people do that. They want to start with lower just because of financial reasons and then upgrade to higher. So you also get a 14-day money-back guarantee from the day you receive your Healy. So they can tell when it was received in the mail with the tracking, and then they give you 14 days. And so if you decide the Healy isn't for you, you can get all your money back. So it's really no risk to try it out for yourself. The Healy program groups, I'm just going to quickly show that these are all those program groups. You saw most of these in My Healy, these different app modules. We were playing with the resonance module here. We talked about the search and the ARA and the coaching and so on. Digital nutrition has its own module where you can even get grocery lists of foods that would be beneficial for the same types of issues you're looking at with the digital nutrition. So as many as 306 different microcurrent programs. And if you have that resonance module, there's even more databases where you can do that third form of frequency. So there's so much you can do. It's honestly quite a bit overwhelming. So the Healy Gold, I'll just point out here too, lower priced Healys or Healy editions will have fewer of these program groups and app modules, and higher price will have more. And there's some things in here that are not in any edition, that are only an add-on. It's not many. I mean, you can get most of this in what we call a professional edition, but things like the Heal Advisor Animal module, that if you want to work specifically with cats and dogs and horses and animals, that is a separate either monthly subscription, or sometimes they make it that you can purchase that all as a one-time purchase and add that on. But whatever edition you buy, you own them forever. So for instance, if you buy the Healy Gold, our lowest price edition at about $506, you'll have these 11 microcurrent programs: Gold Cycle, bioenergetic support, and the two main FDA cleared pain programs, and that search module where you can search for a topic and see which programs would be recommended. So it's just 11 microcurrent programs, but these are great ones. This Gold Cycle, these are very generalized, so they hit all the different areas: physical, mental, emotional, and so on. The most expensive Healy is called Healy Professional. And many times these are on sale, but if they weren't on sale, it would be $4,041 for the professional. But now instead of 11 programs, you have 216 microcurrent programs in all of these different categories. And you have 6 different app modules instead of just one. And obviously you see that resonance module we were talking about. In between, there are 3 other editions. So as you go up from gold to holistic, now you have 63 instead of 11 programs, because we've added these program group names: Bioenergetic Harmony 1 and 2, Mental Balance, Meridians 1 and 2. When you go up to resonance, now you've got 98 total microcurrent programs, because you've added the chakras, fitness, local stimulation is a bunch of other types of pain programs, sleep, and a program group called the Power of 3. But most importantly, this is where you get that resonance module where you saw me scan, and it told me that the digital nutrition was most resonance, and I scanned within that, and the liver harmony was most important for me. So I really, really, really highly recommend trying to start at resonance or higher, because that resonance module is just so powerful. If you go to Resonance Plus, we've added Deep Cycle, Learning, and Skin as 3 more program groups that each have multiple programs in them, but also that ARA analysis module and the coaching module. And when we go to professional, now you're up to 229 programs, because you have that digital nutrition module, which also includes 72 microcurrent programs. Bioenergetic vitalization was the one with the pineal gland and all the epigenetics, and then bioenergetic defense, job, and beauty. So this is very cool. Now, a lot of times Healy does a discount, and this is kind of a strange time to talk about this, because this current discount you see here went from January 2nd to January 31st, and it ended at midnight CET, which is like London time. So it just ended within an hour or 2 ago. And so that was 40% off. Tomorrow, here in the US, they will announce if there's a promotion again. There'll be some kind of promotion. It's just different every month. It might be a lower percentage, it might be the same that they extend it, but they do it on different editions. But just to give an example, like for the month of January, they had 40% off on the top 3 editions, and so that caused these prices to be quite a bit lower. As you see, the professional you could get for $2,424.60 instead of over $4,000. So that can be a pretty significant discount. This month, the resonance was actually cheaper than the holistic as well. So for $909, you could have that resonance module and 98 different microcurrent programs. It's a very, very good deal. The Healy coil has always been a separate accessory. It's about $225. And I just recommend getting both. So let's pretend there's no discount. You would choose one of these editions at these prices, but as of tomorrow, we'll be able to announce some sort of a discount or promotion. Just don't know exactly what it is. Just reach out to the person that shared this with you. And by tomorrow afternoon on February 1st, we will know. Let's quickly jump here to this. You can become a Healy World member, which means you can build a business promoting this technology. You can earn commissions for referring others to Healy, extra commissions, even a free Healy device as a new member with our Fast Start promotion. This is a network marketing, meaning that you can not only sell. If you just want to sell a bunch of Healys, that's fine. But you can also, some of those people are like, well, I know people that would like this. And if they sell, you earn a little bit for what they do for other people's efforts. So in my case, I've got like 2,000 people now in my network because I introduced this to a bunch, and some of them introduced it to a bunch, and so on and so on. And Ray, my good buddy, is one of my top guys in my organization, which we happen to call the Frequency Workshop. So let's jump to that section. Well, I'll just show you here. Here's the prices of the Healys. The Mag Healy is actually more expensive. It's a newer product. It's about almost $3,000, and you earn commissions when you sell them, and it can range depending on what you do in the month. You can earn higher percentages. Here's how you earn a free Healy. We have all these other bonuses. There's just a lot of ways to earn. Don't want to take the time to get into that, but you can find out about that. Now, this we can talk about because this is for the whole quarter of promotion they're doing. The extra 150 euros or $180 for every 2 personally referred members that purchase a Resonance or above. So Resonance, Resonance Plus, Professional, or a Mag Healy. So you would get the normal commission that would come from those, but an extra $180 for every 2. And then every 3rd one, you can earn a free Resonance Plus edition. So you can earn additional Healy devices, and I have several, and that allows you to either have multiple devices in your family so you don't have to fight over them, or you can use them as loaner devices or demonstrations, or give them away or sell them. You can do whatever you want with those ones that you earn. And then they have this pretty significant, 2,500 euros is about $3,000 that you can earn for reaching certain career titles with us right now this quarter. It's pretty cool. So if the concept of earning an income with Healy sounds exciting, definitely reach out and learn more about that. The Frequency Workshop is just the name of our group that Ray and I kind of have been working with and building and creating a great team atmosphere. One of the fastest growing teams in all of Healy. We have extremely knowledgeable people from different backgrounds, and therapists and chiropractors and cranial sacral therapists and massage therapists, and a lot of people that are in the energy world already, but also a lot of regular people like Ray, that was an HVAC contractor, and me, I was a piano technician. We have different backgrounds, but what's really cool is the support you get, because we have a private Facebook group where you can get in there and get questions answered and so on, private email list and Telegram feed where we're feeding information and to you. We're building a members only website right now. We also have this really cool thing called a boards app where that's like a special tool. We have lots of recorded trainings. We have live Zoom trainings on product use, but also business building. We do some in-person events sometimes, and we're just very supportive. So like Ray and I, we're both do this full time now, and you can call us when you have questions, but it's free. Being part of the Frequency Workshop simply means that you've purchased a Healy from someone in our organization, and that automatically means you're part of our team. So last thing I would just like to point out, I know that Ray shared some about how this has affected him financially and being able to build a business, but I'll just tell quickly that my goal, I had actually quit my job in January of 2020 with the goal of building online forms of income so that we'd have the freedom to go around the country visiting our kids, because they had all grown up. They had graduated from college. They had gotten married and moved away. So we did not like being tied down to jobs. So we were like, we got to create some freedom, create a lifestyle and not just a business. So I was starting to kind of build online ways of earning income. And then the Healy came on board, and I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity It's a new company. It still is. This is so young, guys. It's going to become a multi-billion-dollar company. And we're at what, 200 or 300 million or something a year right now. So it's going to grow like crazy. And we can have a part of that. So what we did, I started building this business, and I pretty much do it all online. I just do it with Zoom meetings, and it doesn't matter where we are. So my wife and I sold our house last March, about 10 months ago, and we live now full-time in an RV. It's almost 11 months ago. It was March 6th. So this is a little office I have in our RV, and we're currently in Nebraska, and we're going to be in Georgia and Florida next month, and then we're going up to Montana for the summer. We move around, we go to national parks, and we chase our grandkids and kids around and do this business. So I just want you to know that this really can be a vehicle to help you create a lifestyle that you've been wanting. And we, as the Frequency Workshop, Ray and I and the others on our team, are here to help you accomplish that, because we want to see your success only causes our success to be even greater. So is there anything else you want to add to that, Ray, before we sign off here?
No, I think that is perfect. As always, you were amazing tonight and sharing the product and what it does. And you all that are on here, just get back with the person that invited you here tonight and ask more questions. Get a free personal frequency scan for yourself, or even better yet, utilize that 14-day money back guarantee. Work this thing hard for the first 14 days. If you're not fully satisfied, send it back. That's as simple as it gets.
Yes, and definitely one other thing, Ray, I always forget to mention is we do have financing options if you'd really like to go with a higher edition, but it's just kind of hard to put out that much cash at once. We use a company called Klarna. You may have heard of them. They're becoming pretty well known now. For a lot of companies use them for online purchases and so on. So right at our checkout screen, you can choose the Klarna option and see if you're qualified even up to 24 months financing, sometimes even 0% if you have great credit. So that's pretty cool. And we do record these meetings. So if you reach out also again to the person that told you to come here, they can provide you the recorded link here within the next hour or two. We'll have that up and available on YouTube as well. And you could even search for the Frequency Workshop on YouTube and find all of our past webinar recordings. It's pretty much the same information, except for sometimes the pricing is different because of promotions. But so I would just watch whatever the most recent one is. Thank you everyone for coming, and we're here every Tuesday night, so feel free to come back and bring a bunch of friends next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night all.